Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. I am so happy to be here. It was the premiere of The Bachelor this week, so we have a lot to talk about. Helping me co-host today is Susie. Susie, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm good. I'm thriving. I'm like ready to dish the dirt of episode 1, but I know we have other things to do first.
I love that. No, we're gonna get into it. Where are you in the world right now? Because I know you're always traveling.
I know. It's been a lot. I've been figuring out my life. I'm currently in Virginia, back in Virginia for a hot minute. And then literally in 5 days, I'll be in LA.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida right now. We came for the week.
Nice.
So I'm down south with you. Okay. And then our guest, everybody will remember her from episode 1. She did cry a few times, but we're going to get to know her. She's from North Dakota. Madison is here, so can't wait to talk to her. It's not easy going home night 1. I know everybody knows. I've been there before. So, yeah. So we'll talk to her, and I'm excited. I'm excited about that. What, anything else new you'd like to share?
Nothing too crazy. Just relocating, just living life.
Yeah. Okay. Me too. We don't got anything juicy for you here. I was out with a bunch of Bachelor people over the weekend. It was Andrew Spencer's birthday, so a bunch of us went to a steakhouse in New York. It was a lot of fun. So I'm laying off of drinking for a few days.
It was one of those. It was like a big one.
Yeah, and
party.
when I go to a steakhouse, I instantly get I either get an old fashioned or a martini, and I went with an old fashioned, and then I consistently stay drinking whiskey for the night, and those are usually pretty rough hangovers. So.
Interesting. I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm not opposed to it. It's just never been my thing, so I'm not really familiar with that territory. But sounds like you started the night right and stuck with one drink. At least, I feel like it could have gone worse if you switched to vodka or did something else. The hangover could have been worse.
Oh yeah,
so,
I'm at the age where I've learned my lesson. What's your drink of choice?
Tequila. I'm all tequila or wine. I love a good wine night. But if I'm drinking drinks, I try to get skinny margaritas.
Okay.
Just tequila, lime juice, and a little soda water.
Yeah,
That's what I call them.
Okay. What about wine, red or white?
I like both, but because I don't like red stained lips, I generally go for a white Sauvignon Blanc.
Nice. Yeah. See, I prefer red, but I try to keep my teeth white. So
I know.
I'm with you. Nobody likes
it's a sacrifice.
Yeah. We saw it. We actually saw it on whose season was it? Rachel and Gabby's season. We saw Tino when he was talking to producers. He definitely had wine.
Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
Gosh.
Let's get into Bachelor Nation breakdown, people. First breakdown. If you don't follow Adam and Raven, they are a married couple from Bachelor in Paradise. I think Bachelor in Paradise 5, I'm going to throw out there. 5 or 6.
Wow.
They just had a baby, and she is pregnant again. It was a very funny video, so check it out on their Instagram. Raven posted it, and she was basically showing Adam the pregnancy test, and he was arguing with her about how it's not accurate. And they literally go on. He goes on for 30 seconds, and then finally she's takes another test and shows him, and they're gonna have 2 kids under 2.
Oh my gosh. I kind of think that's the way to do it, though. I mean, obviously there's a million ways to do it, but in my mind, I'm just knock it out and get the diaper days behind you.
Yeah, I think so. So my best friend, he rented a house in Florida for a few months, and they have a 2-year-old. So Serena and I came out here Tuesday night, so we're or Monday night, and we're living with a 2-year-old, and I'm oh yeah. having a kid is work, and they don't stop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so shocking how much it can just flip your world upside down. My brother was never a morning person. I honestly couldn't have imagined him as a dad, and seeing him in that transition. He's like up at 5:30, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Why am I getting texts at 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's literally your life now is your kid's life.
Yeah.
No. So
It's wild. But
Can't
that's
wait for
exciting
that.
for them. Yeah.
I love Adam and Raven. They've been on this podcast a few times. They're like truly like two of my favorite people to talk to. I'm not just saying that. They're awesome. So love them. Very happy for them. Bachelor Breakdown number 2 is another Bachelor in Paradise couple who has 3 kids, potentially 4, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. Jade and Tanner, who are celebrating 7 years together. So it really does seem like Bachelor in Paradise is the show out of the 3 that truly works or lasts. The couples last, it seems like.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that there's a good chance. I think it's because, and obviously I haven't been on it, you can probably speak to it more, but it does seem like you just get the opportunity to mix and mingle with so many different people. And I think when you're on the show, you might have an idea of what you want, but you never know until you meet that person. And I think like Paradise gives you that opportunity to meet multiple people. And it's like you're truly getting to choose. It's not like here's one person you all have to date. It's like tons of people, and then just see how things, trickle out and work for you.
You get options, that's what it is. It's just options. I mean, think about like, in the 50s and 60s, like our grandparents, like you most likely married somebody that lived in a 4-block radius from you, but that's all it took, whatever. There was maybe 7 single people in that town, and pick one and last forever. So
yeah, that's actually interesting to think about from the dynamic of
it's a very unromantic way to put it, but
yeah, but in the dynamic of the show in general, I'm like, you and Serena are from different countries, so that it makes it more challenging, I think, for things to really work out, but it's pretty cool when it does.
Yeah, and the truth is, like, we would have never ever met. So would you go on Paradise if you're single? It's
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds so fun in theory, but then when you actually think about what's happening, I'm like, it actually sounds like my nightmare. Like people are literally being brought down as you're like forming relationships and piquing other people's interests. And I'm like, it sounds like the real world. Like it is the real world because you just have endless options at your fingertips. And I don't know. I would really have to have a serious crush on somebody and be like, I want to meet that person. Let's see if the stars align.
Yeah. And I think you really have to be ready and want to be in a serious relationship for something to happen out there.
Yeah, I think so too. And then that person would also have to be in that same place. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Okay. Bachelor Nation breakdown number 3. We're going to recap the first episode a little bit. Give you guys our thoughts and what we thought. I thought it was a pretty, simple, traditional first episode. Nothing too crazy. I have my favorites. I feel like I think I know who he's gonna pick, or I feel like I think I could pick the top. I feel like I think I could pick the top 4.
Yeah.
But overall, like, you did this. You did this not too long ago, Susie. What were your thoughts watching it back?
I thought I actually really liked Zach. I think that if he gives us more of who he is as the season goes on, I think he actually might become a very liked bachelor. And I know that it's hard to please everybody in general. And so I know that there's been a lot of people that were just like dragging their feet when it came to watching, but I did think it was somewhat of a positive response. And I liked that, when he talked with Madison, who we're going to talk with later, I actually liked that he was straightforward with her and he wasn't like reassuring her, no, I want you here and I want to see where this can go. He just like really took a moment and you could see him like work through that. And I was like, honestly, that was real. And I had a lot of respect for him. So I think that other people will see that and I think that they will like that. And if we see more of that as the season goes, then I think people are going to really like him and this season. So I liked watching it back. I enjoyed it. I just want to see it unfold.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty, you know, I'm not saying normal in a bad way, normal in a good way. Like I think he's got his head on his shoulders. I think he's a pretty normal guy. But I also think like the show, like The Bachelor, it, you know, as much as it is about The Bachelor, like it's about the girls that are competing for him. You know, that's where I always felt like the entertainment comes from is, and vice versa for The Bachelorette. Like, sure, like the lead is the lead, but you know, it's the 30 people trying to, you know, end up with this person. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Any favorites from the limo? Anyone stuck out for you just from the limo?
Just from the limo.
Yeah.
Okay, Bailey was so cute. I liked the little name tag. It was like a subtle, small gesture to poke fun at the situation. And then Zach kissed her.
What'd you think about the kiss?
I was here for it. I was like, she probably was shook. Like she probably did not see that coming. If it were me, I would be so shocked that the lead is like leaning in to kiss me on my limo entrance. I loved it. I thought it was spicy. I was like, okay, Zach, come on.
He kissed a lot of girls. I think he's like the top kisser. I will say I do think he really likes Bailey though. I think I don't know if she's bottom 4, but I would say she's bottom 6. Bailey's in my bottom 6. I think they're showing it. I think he's really into Katie.
Yes, and I'm really into Katie as well. I was like big fan.
Really?
So cute. Yes, I thought she was so cute. I just thought I thought she had like a sparkle. She's the one that had the little line about the trash can and her ex. Is that right?
I think so. And also when I say
that was her.
When I say bottoms, that was her. When I say bottom 6 for our listeners, because I just said top before. Bottom 6, I mean the top.
The final group.
Final's what I mean. There we
go. Okay.
I think I like Katie. I like I think he likes Gabby a lot. I think he likes Catherine a lot, even though I feel like there's going to be a lot of drama between him and Catherine.
Oh, really? Why do you think that? Previews or just?
I can tell, like, I feel like she's going to be pretty insecure, you know, competing against, like, when it gets down to it, which, you know, I can't blame her. I think most people are. And I think that's going to affect their relationship.
Gotcha. I think that's fair. I didn't really pick up on that, but I did, maybe I just didn't notice. But I think that's totally fair. Like as you get further along and you become more invested, in general, it's an abnormal experience. So I think it's totally normal for that friction to build and for it to be like, I'm looking for clarity or I'm looking for a sign that you're truly invested in this. But yeah, that's an interesting take. I'm gonna like keep my eyes open to that hot take.
I'm pretty good at guessing this. What do you think about what'd you think? Because all right, I liked her and I actually think she's gonna go pretty far.
Okay.
Brianna, who got America's First Impression rose. My issue with that whole thing is I don't like that America gave a rose, because at the end of the day, it's really about if Zach's into her or not. And she could have potentially got his first rose, which would have meant more. And I feel like then because he knew she was going to be there, you know, the next day, maybe there wasn't as much effort on, because she said she put in the effort, but maybe on his end, he was like, well, I know I'm going to be able to meet her tomorrow. And then I almost feel like that's a disadvantage, personally.
Interesting. I don't know. I think that, well, first of all, she was giving Bachelorette vibes. Like,
you think so?
I think so. She was glowing. Like, and I think everybody was tweeting about it because she was so cute. She was very likable. She was stunning. Like, just good vibes all around. I don't know that I would say it would be a disservice. Maybe because he's like, oh, I know I'll have tomorrow with her. But at the same time, I think that I do think that there's something about we get to see as viewers, we get to see more than the lead sees. And I know that there wasn't like a ton that happened on the night when they all met, but I do think that there's something about like energy, and that she gave off really good energy and people were really drawn to her. And I'm like, I think that that's a good sign that people are like, we love this person and, you know, we want to see her go far. And I don't know, I think that could give sort of like an incentive to Zach to be like, okay, you know, she's somebody that has good energy. And maybe if she didn't have that rose, I don't know, you never know. She could have gone home and then they wouldn't get the chance to explore. You just never know.
Sure. Well, that's the positive way to look at it. So I guess we'll agree to disagree.
There we go.
And then lastly, I think, well, we're going to talk about Madison. Madison freaked out, cried a lot, left. But, you know, it's an emotional first night. But, you know, if she would have known somebody on the show, they would have probably been like, don't freak out night one.
Right.
And then he gave his first impression rose to Greer, which I was shocked by, because I really thought, I was like, he's giving it to Katie. That is who I think he is like into the most, but he went with Greer. I found that surprising, because I didn't really see the chemistry there, but maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, I also was kind of shocked that it went to Greer. I think it was kind of like a chemistry thing, because I didn't really see there was like that spark of like, oh, I'm super interested in seeing where this can go. But I will say she gave really sweet vibes. You know what I mean? She gave very nice girl vibes in that first interaction, where I was like, just like, oh, maybe this is more of like, you know, I felt really comfortable with you and I want to give this rose to you for that reason. Like, I don't always know the reasoning behind the first impression rose, but it could have come down to he just felt like she was a really nice girl. And I mean, he was going to keep her around, and he was like, you know what, this felt the most natural. And that could be romantic, or that could be friendship, you know, it could be anything.
I felt that way about Jess. I thought she came across that way. She was the first out of the limo. And she was the first out of the limo, really sweet. You could tell she was, it's always refreshing to watch, because like everyone's nervous, but when, you know, like she really came across nervous but sweet at the same time. So you root for her. Like, it's hard to watch it and not like root for her, in my opinion.
100%. I thought Jess was so cute, so endearing. I also thought, who was it that gave off similar energy? Olivia. She was eliminated, actually. But I actually thought Olivia L gave off similar energy to Jess, where it was like young and like a little bit nervous, but very endearing. And I was like kind of shocked. I'm actually shocked. I didn't even realize that Olivia went home until right now. But they were both so cute. I liked them both.
And I think he also really liked Charity. She's a therapist.
Yes.
And you could tell she was getting aggravated that, like, you know, because that night for our listeners, that is a long first day. Like, it is. And you know, you could go for 4 or 5 hours without speaking to the lead, and you're kind of sitting around like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So I think she's going to be there for a while too.
You know who was interesting to me was Christina Mandrell.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about her.
I know a lot of people are talking about her. To me, I saw this tweet and I resonated with it. And it was like, honestly, you know, and who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, down the road. But the first night impression, I was like, she was hyping up the other girl that had the same dress as her. They were like checking to see if it was the same dress. And then when it was, she was like, oh, she's got good taste. You know, that could have been a totally mean girl interaction. It was not. And then all the girls joined the party bus and she's like embracing it. And she's like, yeah, let's have a good time. Like, but I think there is something about her energy that, and this is me just being honest, and please don't cancel me for it, but I was like, there is something about her energy where I was like, oh, I could see her maybe being a mean girl. But that is just a judgy, like, first impression. I don't know. Maybe it was the sparkly dress. I don't know what it is.
I was really ready for you to say something truly cancelable.
Oh, no.
No. Do you know she was in, so like the big thing, like I guess like they used her last name. So, and her mom or grandma or somebody who's like a country singer. And she was also in one of the like Bachelor accounts pulled up. She was in a Taylor Swift music video.
Oh my God! What was she really?
Yeah. I don't know which one, but yeah, she was.
Oh my God! Wait, now I'm fangirling. That's so fun.
Let's see. They're telling that it's the song 15. Is that a song?
Oh, I guess it is.
Are you not a Taylor Swift fan or not really?
I am, but it's been a later development in my life.
Okay.
It actually started while I was on the show. There was like some behind the scenes. You can relate
to a lot of her songs.
I was like begging producers to come to my room and be like, just play me that one Taylor Swift song, and I would just like lie in bed and listen to it and get my fix in for the day, and then that was it. So yeah, like I became a Swiftie later in life, but yeah, that's so interesting. I thought she gave off like really fun vibes, and I understand why maybe people were kind of coming for her on Twitter, and then I was like, hold up, she's giving welcoming vibes to me. So we'll see what happens.
You could tell like the girls all like her, and when that happens, at least like for her, it's going to be an easier time. When everybody in the house likes you, it's like that's a huge thing. All right, done with this. We're over. Episode 2 is next week, because you guys all know how this works. Clickbait of the week. There's an article in Vogue. Being in a relationship with someone hotter than you. I'm in a relationship with someone hotter than me. She's laughing. But yeah, no, I think being in a relationship. So it talks about like, being insecure and being with somebody so much higher than you. And like the article's about like these billionaires were out in New York and there was a bunch of models there. And it's like, okay, like that stuff happens all the fucking time. Like whatever, like rich guys buying models drinks, get it. But like, I don't know, like being in a relationship isn't all about looks. And usually when it's two people that are only into each other physically, like that, it always fizzles out. So
right. I agree.
Right?
I actually really liked the topic of this article. I almost wish that there was more of a psychology element to it, because I just love understanding like how the brain works. But as I was reading it, I was like, oh, I actually want to go research this topic from a scientific standpoint. I'm like going to be digging up articles, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, I think that it's just an interesting dynamic to find yourself in. And I think personally, I don't know. I think that I historically have steered away from like traditionally good looking people, because I feel, again, don't cancel me, but I feel like that I've found more value in people that are not traditionally like super hot or super good looking, because I've always been somebody that's like been a relationship person. So I'm looking for people with like great character qualities. And sometimes I literally see good looking people and I'm like, not interested. But like, that's just me being judgy. So like, I don't know.
Just hating on all the good looking people.
I really am. I obviously am so judgy towards good looking people. But yeah, I thought that the topic was really interesting. But I've also like found myself in situations where this article pointed out how like in our brains, we will think that, oh, once they really get to see the real me, or if they see me without makeup on, or if they see me, without all the glam and, the good first impressions that we put forth, then they're going to no longer be interested in me. And I've definitely felt that in relationships.
Interesting.
Where I've been, so I was like really interested reading it. I was like, oh, this is something that other people go through, where you're like, oh yeah, this is like the first time somebody will maybe see me without makeup on if I've been going on dates to start or whatever.
I guess that's a normal feeling of like when you start dating somebody, you're worried like once they really see me and like me and all my, the good, bad, and ugly, they're gonna be like, oh, I made a mistake.
I know.
But that's the whole thing, right? Nobody's fucking perfect. Like we all have our flaws, so it's like
exactly. And I think it gives me peace in that with myself. Like that's something over, obviously I'm 29 now. That was like a very young mentality when I was like, oh gosh, I'm, nervous for somebody not to like me if they see the real me. But at this point it's like I have so much self-assurance because I'm like, I'm not looking for the hottest guy in the room, but what I'm looking for is like a good person. Yeah. So I think there's like obviously way more to that to dig in. But I thought the article was interesting, and I'm like going to be looking up some psychology articles
that actually,
after this.
Not to keep pumping Bachelor in Paradise, but the truth is like you do see like Serena's pretty much saw me like, after day one, like headband in my hair and,
You had socks with sandals on.
Sandals. Like this is me, babe.
This
Take
is
it or
who I
leave
am.
it.
100%. Like, and yeah, look at you guys thriving.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Yeah, the article he was talking about like being naked with his partner and realizing like his partner is attracted to him, and it's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. So
it really is like 100%. And I know we're just keep going, but I'm like even thinking of my girlfriends. I'm like, all my friends, I just think they're the most beautiful people. But then I'm like, is that just me thinking that they're beautiful because I know them? I really think that that who somebody is makes them beautiful. So
yeah. I
loved it.
Look at us. Here we are just being good people.
I know. I just loved it.
All right. I think it's the perfect time. Let's bring in our guest. You know her from the first episode. Unfortunately, she went home early before the rose ceremony. Everyone, please welcome Madison to Clickbait. Madison, hello. Welcome. How are you?
Joe, Susie, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing fabulous.
Great.
Good.
Where are you? Where are you in the world? You live in Fargo, North Dakota?
Fargo, North Dakota, born and raised. Negative 5 degrees here today.
Okay. Ooh. So what do you do? How is nightlife out there? Just being single in a place like North Dakota.
Non-existent. No, you go out for your dinner drinks and your dinner, and that's about it. There's zero nightlife unless you're still in college.
Really? Is there a downtown in any major city?
Yeah, Fargo's downtown is phenomenal. I love downtown, but it's definitely, when we talk nightlife, it's not the New York or LA where you can go to a rooftop and have cocktails for a few hours and still be entertained. And when it's in the winter, it's obviously very cold and hard to get around, especially when you're wearing a parka down to your knees.
Yeah.
I feel that. Like I'm from Chicago. I currently live in New York, but it was just rainy and cold. And we were like, I'm in Florida right now because we're like, we got to get out for like 4 or 5 days because I need a little sunshine, a little vitamin D because it just gets brutal.
Seasonal depression is a real thing.
For sure. No, it really is. It is. What are you, how are summers up there? Is it warm in the summer?
Phenomenal. People live up here for the summers, for those 3 months of lake season and, people go 4-wheeling and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely like a little bit more backwoods, but it's beautiful.
I love that. Do you have any like North Dakota hobbies? My thought when you were joining was like, do you play hockey? Is that just like a stereotype, or is that real like North Dakota culture?
That is spot on. Minnesota and North Dakota are known for hockey. Okay. I didn't play. I can ice skate and I can skate, but I never played hockey before. But it is a thing. You're spot on.
Okay, cool. So I wasn't like totally crazy in thinking that.
No, you're not making stuff up. But
love that.
Snowmobiling is an underrated activity. I will say that. It's so fun.
I love snowmobiling.
So I've never done that. So you guys do that? That's a thing?
Snowmobiling?
Yeah, that's a thing people can just do.
Yeah.
Get on and ride.
Susie, why do you think there's snowmobiles? What do you think people are doing with them?
I'm thinking of like present day Balto. You know what I mean? I'm like, who's using snowmobiles? Like, who's snowmobiling? But I guess
we supply them.
I'm coming. Yeah. I'm coming to visit. Then I guess.
Please do.
You won't
want to stay long.
So let's talk about Madison. Let's talk about so dating before the show. How
Yeah.
was it? Were you in a serious relationship ever? Like, what was the deal?
Yeah.
Were you dating apps?
Oh gosh, I hate dating apps. No hate on dating apps, but I do hate dating apps. Also because the dating scene here, as far as actually going places, is pretty limited. I love the people. I love what we do have, but it is difficult. I've been in a couple of relationships. Both were long-term, over a few years, but they were also long distance. So neither of them lived in Fargo. One of them was in Michigan. Another was in Minneapolis, which is not too far from Fargo, 4 hours.
Yeah.
But distance does make the heart grow fonder, but it also makes getting to know someone difficult. And so, after 3 years, you think you know someone. And then, my last relationship, phenomenal man, but we didn't see eye to eye on what we wanted in a family. And I want kids. That's a non-negotiable for me. And it had come up over the couple first few years, but at the end of it, we just made the decision that it was best to part ways. But I'm definitely a long-term relationship type of gal.
So how'd you get on The Bachelor?
My two darling little sisters submitted me, and I will never forget the night that they did, because they were sitting in my living room with shit grins on their faces, on their laptops, like going back and forth, whispering. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I'm starting to cook dinner and all that kind of stuff. And they're just continuing what they're doing. And then sure enough, a couple of days later, I get an email and I'm like, I knew exactly the moment that was submitted. But they were the biggest support system when it came to the show, and just dating in general. They want me to be happy, and they've always pushed me out of my comfort zone. Like my last relationship, I would have never gone on this original date with this man if it weren't for my younger sister just saying, just go, get out of the house, like put work aside for a second. And yeah. So my little sister submitted me.
Nice.
That's so cool. How old are your little sisters?
So now they are 23 and then 19.
Wow.
But yeah, we are a tight-knit group. They are my rock. They are my world. They're, my purpose and drive as far as like day-to-day activities go. And when I don't know if I would have ever submitted myself for The Bachelor, it's definitely outside of my comfort zone. And I think that that's what I appreciated so much about them just saying, hey, get out of your comfort zone and do this. And they've done that in the past with other relationships, and they did it this time too.
Nice.
That's so cool.
I think stepping out of your comfort zone is very important, because that's how you grow. Night one, unfortunately for you, you end up going home. I also experienced that. I remember being in the house that first night and like walking into the bathroom and staring in the mirror and being like, fuck, like there's no, like I'm here. Like everything that I just said outside of the limo is going to get aired. And I did that. And now I'm here and I'm freaking out, because it's like back at home when you're out in Chicago and you're drinking at a bar. And if you try to hit on somebody and you get turned down and you feel embarrassed, nobody sees it the next day. But now like everyone's going to see this. I had that moment. Okay. So it's intense. So let's talk about, I guess let's break it down. Let's talk about, what was going on in your head in the limo, and then you're stepping out of the limo and then finally meeting Zach.
Well, the exciting process even of, getting flown out there, getting to your hotel, getting situated, meeting the phenomenal Bachelor team, like getting excited to meet him from start to even, obviously before leaving, but that excitement builds. And then once it's finally time to enter the limo, you're like, it's that holy shit moment of what did I just get myself into? There's no turning back. And if I do, it'll end bad either way. But I just kept reminding myself, it is out of my comfort zone. I swear I've become a little bit more of an introvert since COVID has happened. I'm very out there, but even just, connecting with the girls, I was nervous, and you never know what they're going to think or what their personalities are going to be like. But I just kept reminding myself why I'm there. But as far as getting ready and going into the limo, it was so nice to talk to the girls and just share that nervous excitement in the limo, have a glass of champagne, you know, get ready. We got to powder ourselves up. We were talking about Zach and how tall he is and how handsome he is and how, you know, just talking him up and the experience up. And the moment that it all hits is when you walk out of that damn limo. I tell you what, I swear my spirit left my body. And I don't know if I think I had one glass of champagne the entire day. I don't think I remembered that limo entrance at all.
I blacked out.
Yeah, I remember out for sure.
Yeah, everybody always says they black out because you do, and the limo's the worst because for me, I was like, I have so much anxiety right now. But yeah, I think we all like everybody blacks out. So you get out there and, you know, once you talk to Zach, are you like, and you walk away and you kind of like, what did I say? But like, are you into him? Like seeing him finally in person. What was that like?
It was exciting. And I don't think I've ever experienced like a love at first sight. And I definitely need to get to know someone in order to feel like I'm going to begin even investing myself and my time into someone. With Zach, when I know this wasn't shown, but he yelled "oofta" at me while I was walking away, and it got me a little excited. And it was in that moment, I'm like, wait, this is something. This is a real thing. We're not just here to meet 29 other women. There's another person who's looking for someone, and who is it going to be? Could it be someone like myself or someone else? And so that excitement did carry over after finally meeting him. But it's nerve-wracking then once you walk into the mansion and you see at that point, you know, 15 girls or however many girls were in there, and you're like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And Zach's still talking to other people and getting to, you know, limo entrances and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, trying to mingle and, you know, see the mansion and all that kind of stuff. But it's all so surreal.
Right.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
remember just feeling like, what do I do? Like when I walked in, I was like, where do I go? Like, there's no real like rule book as to what you're supposed to do. And everyone's just feeling it out, and it can be so overwhelming. And then you're just like overthinking everything that you've said. That first night is just, it's so unlike anything you've ever done in your life before, and you don't know if you're going to get time with him, when you're going to get time with him. You don't know how it works, and you're like, is this based on his interest in me when I'm going to see him, or do I have to be assertive? You're asking yourself all of these questions, and it really can be so overwhelming. Did you feel? Oh, go ahead.
That is I was just going to say, I think overwhelming is the word that I would describe the night as. There are so many emotions, excitement, nerves, and the unknowns of, you know, I was thinking, like, where do I sit? Like, there's a group of girls here. There's a group of girls here. Like, should I sit over here? And, you know, just getting in my head about all of that was a huge thing. And I think looking back at the night as a whole, you know, you want to continue to be your best self and put yourself out there. But I was so anxious, I was so nervous, and, you know, you want time with him, but then, you know, there's so much that happens in that first night that, you know, can only be shown in the matter of 2 hours. But those moments happened. And so when they were put together, like, that was how my night one went. And again, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done was not do night one, but watch night one. And just leading up to what it could possibly be. We don't know. We are watching with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And Oh my gosh, I was physically sick, and
Yeah.
it's just it is, like Susie said, it's an experience that you cannot even put into words. It is crazy. It's definitely been a rough 24, 48 hours, whatever we're at. When you get feedback from people who don't know you and see parts of you on this show, it we have to remind ourselves we're human, and
Yes.
I'm trying not to lose myself in the negativity that has come with what has happened.
It's,
Good.
you know what, at the end of the day, listen, it's all easier said than done. And it's easy for people to pass judgment because they never did it. And it's, you're lucky to even get casted because, there's only 30 people that even get, make it. So it is like, whatever, like laugh it off. Like, I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but like, it's like whatever. And you don't know who knows, maybe you get casted to go on Bachelor in Paradise and you fall in love on that show. I mean, anything's possible, and you stepped out of your comfort zone and you did it.
Yeah.
But while all that's being said, you did cry and all that on night one, which, you know what, your emotions got the best of you. You did pull Zach multiple times. Do you regret that?
I do not regret. I believe everything happens for a reason, and it's so cliche and it's annoying to hear, but it's true. I am sitting right here for a reason. I know for a fact that if I do look back and I think, well, if I didn't pull him that second time, would things have been different? But he wasn't my person, and I know that, and so why prolong it? And regret making that decision. So I don't regret it. I regret some of the tears I shed, but
would you say those tears? Would you say those tears were because you felt there was no connection between you and Zach, or were they a mix of just like
overwhelmed?
Yeah, overwhelmed. Yeah. I'm going home night one. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. So a comment I made, and I don't know if it was like I gave up my life for him or whatever. There is so much emotion within that comment. It's not that I gave up my life for a man that I've never met. It is I put my life on hold to pursue a chance at love with someone who might be that person. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. At the end of the day, it didn't work out. But in hindsight, it is the truth. I did have to, take a hit for my business and, I've got employees, but they couldn't handle everything while I was away. And
what do you do?
Even my sisters. I own my own business, medical aesthetic marketing, and consulting. Nice. So cool. Work with a lot of dermatologists, facial plastic surgeons, do their marketing and business. But having to put that on hold, and I'm so grateful that I have wonderful clients that I'm still able to work with now that I'm back. But it's, when I said that, it is, you have to sacrifice a lot in order to put this opportunity into reality.
Yeah. Well, and it's also hard because once you get that first email, right? And you start going through the process, it is all like, it's kind of all that's on your mind, because you're like, whoa, there's a chance I might get casted on a television show. And then you're like, I might be on TV, and then I might fall in love. And then you start romanticizing it. So it does take up a lot of just like your mental. And I mean, I get it. 'Cause like going home night one fucking sucks. Like there's just no way around it. Your kiss with Zach. I think you were like, damn, that was not it. What was that? Describe that.
I would say that if I would regret anything, it would be that. Okay. I think we had a conversation too about not forcing things, and it was reiterated later in the evening. But I believed in that. And in that moment, I felt that was the situation that was I wasn't going to talk to him for the second time just for that kiss. Like, it wasn't my end goal. I did want time with him. Again, there was other things that were playing out throughout the night that led me to that second interruption. But I think with the kiss, it was like the defining moment for me that this wasn't it.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like the spark at all. There was no like,
No.
oh, I got it. Like none of that.
And that's what I was hoping for, is that spark.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know what it's like to kiss on national television. And I'm like,
you do know.
I know.
Same.
And going back and forth. And so even just that alone was just weird. And, but it was, I would say, a defining moment for the trajectory for the rest of the evening. And kind of going back to what you had alluded to, Joe, it is the emotion and the buildup that comes with, going on the show and, finding out who it is and all of that emotion and then to like go home night one. That is really, it was disappointing to not make a connection. It was disappointing to, not have him see a connection either. And it is what it is. I know that, again, it happened exactly how it's meant to happen. And he's a great guy. He's super nice. And that kiss just wasn't it.
Yeah.
He's tall, huh?
He is tall. I love a good tall man.
We love a good tall man around here.
I know. Nothing bad about our short kings, but
no, that either. We love it all.
Exactly.
I was going to ask you, did you find that the girls were supportive? It looked like they were supportive, but obviously you don't see everything. But did you feel like they were supportive while you were there? And then now that the first episode has aired, have they reached out? Has anybody been like, hey, I just want to extend, support and love?
Yeah, I don't think I could have gone through the last 24 hours without the support and love of the women. They have just reached out, checking in, see if everything's okay. But it was nice that the women did get to know me, and I got to know them, and they got to know me on a deeper level. And even since the show, just having their support and love and being able to be there for them as well has been remarkable. I didn't have a bad experience with a single woman.
Nice.
That's so awesome. That's like the best thing. Yeah. And sometimes the friendships are the best thing that come from the show. Like, there's all kinds of love that you find on the show. One person will find love, like romantic love, but you really walk away with friendships and more relationships than you could have even imagined going in. So that's really great to hear.
Exactly.
Susie actually hates everyone from her season. So,
yep.
So I've heard. I don't know. Now we're stirring the pot.
Since you've been home, have you been able to date, or are you waiting?
I'm waiting. I needed a second for the show to air. I obviously want to find my person. I want kids, and I know that obviously I can have kids at 35 or whatever, and I'm only 27, but at the same time, I want to start seeking out love and being able to pursue that. So I haven't yet, but maybe when the next couple weeks. I don't know. This last week needs to die down.
Okay. Would you, last question, then we're going to play a game. Actually, I got two questions. Would you go on Bachelor in Paradise?
I believe I would.
Nice.
I think with Bachelor in Paradise, you have an opportunity to meet multiple people, and that is what really excites me about that. And just that you don't have all of your eggs in one basket, but you can look forward to potentially meeting someone that you're interested in.
Yeah, you could kiss. You could kiss somebody, not feel anything. Walk down the beach, kiss somebody else, and fall in love. So
it seems like
I don't
less
know.
pressure.
I've learned my lesson. It is. It looks.
And then knowing what you know from this season, I know you were only there one day. If you can describe the rest of this season in one word, what would it be?
I would say, and again, this is another kind of cliche word, but I do believe authentic is something that I felt with Zach, that he was very authentic, very clear. And I think that will be the rest of his season.
Great. That's positive. We'll wait till we start getting some of the cast middle of the road who fucking hate Zach, hate the show, hate the producers. It's only a matter of time for that starts coming. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna play a quick game with you, and then we're gonna let you go.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so it's just rapid fire. So first thing that comes to your mind, what is the first thing you do when you wake up?
Brush my teeth.
Love it. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Love it. Where's one place in the world that you have to visit?
I would say Thailand. I would love to adventure Thailand.
Cool. Me too. What's your go-to cocktail?
Cosmo with Tito's.
Oh, okay, Tito's. We'd love to see it.
Right.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs for sure. I've got 2.
Nice. The best dating advice you've ever received?
Don't go on The Bachelor.
Don't kiss on night 1. I would say the best advice I've been given is don't feel guilty for moving forward or not finding it in someone who sees it in you.
100%. I love that. What's your screensaver on your phone?
My dogs.
Oh, let's
gosh,
see.
I turned my phone off too.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, don't worry about it.
I can turn it back
Let
on.
me see. Send it to me later.
I literally had to turn off everything, so I didn't. Yes, I will.
Perfect. Your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my gosh. There's a couple of like bad ones. I like Eminem.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Eminem fan. So if you like Lose Yourself, I would totally spit that on karaoke.
Okay, love to hear it. What's your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck.
Nice, good one. Wait, isn't that a TikTok sound?
That is, yeah. That's what it is. Probably fuck.
And she goes, probably fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
you should
my
do
gosh,
that TikTok. You should do that TikTok. That's so funny. Yeah.
I know, it's so bad though.
Oh, here's one. I love this one. Who's the hottest guy in Bachelor Nation?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, drop it. Who is it? Who's your crush?
I think Johnny
besides Zach.
Johnny. All right.
Yeah, besides that. Johnny is something else. His personality, his looks, he's got it going on. I'm attracted to that. His personality.
I love that.
Or Avon. Huge Avon fan too.
Oh yeah, Avon as well. Big fan. Yes, manifest it. We love to see it. So my final rapid fire was going to be, would you ever go on Paradise? But we kind of already asked you that.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to say before you go, because I thought about this as you were speaking about, like, watching it back was so much harder than being there. Somebody literally came up to me at one point and called and said, "Oh, I loved your character when I was on The Bachelor." Like, people sometimes really disassociate the fact that you're a human being from the fact that you're a character on television. Yeah. So I know it's been hard, but you have a ton of support. All of us who've been through it know how stressful it is. You are handling it beautifully. The fact that you're even here talking about it and opening up and letting us see you, like, big kudos to you. You're so precious, so fun, so relatable. So I want to say thank you for coming on here and letting us get to know you and not your television character.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That means the world. And I've experienced those types of comments too, and some of the positive ones. And that's a really good reminder.
Thank you so much for coming on. I hope to see you in the future. I think there's a good chance you're in Paradise. Before you go, we know your Griddy dance is making some noise on TikTok. There we go. Is that it? Is that the move? What is it?
I don't know how to do it.
Joe, do you know the Griddy?
I don't know the Griddy. Is that do you listen to Eminem and do that?
No. Justin Jefferson, are you football?
Oh yes, football? Yeah. Vikings. Okay.
Yes, he's the gritty guy.
Are you a Vikings fan?
Huge. Skull Vikes, baby.
Yeah, go Vikes. They lost the first round. I bet them to win I bet them to win the Super Bowl, and I lost.
I know. It's really devastating.
Their defense is just
on behalf.
Their defense was not it. Okay, Madison, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Seriously, and it was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right,
she was
Madison.
So sweet.
Very nice, very nice.
So sweet.
Yeah, I feel for anyone. I hate talking about it because I always talk about it, but we got to do it the first episode. I do feel for anyone that goes home night one because it sucks. It is a shitty feeling.
And people really do sacrifice a lot to come on the show. And people watching are like, oh my God, it's night one. But it's like, no, like, this is not night one. This has been in the process for weeks. And like you said, you romanticize the idea of it. It's like, it really is it can be so overwhelming on night one, on the whole thing.
Absolutely. And then she has to, like her sisters nominate her. And then in her head, she's probably on the plane on the way home, like, now I gotta, like, let them down. And it's just, it sucks. But she's staying positive, and you never know. I don't know. If you guys, for anyone listening, if you want her in paradise, start DMing the Bachelor in Paradise Instagram account. Maybe we can get her on there.
I love it. I support it. Joe, thank you for having me today. And thank you all to all of our listeners for being here, tuning in. And thank you to Madison for joining us.
Susie, you know what? You're always welcome. And as always, to all our listeners, make sure you subscribe and submit all your burning questions. Check us out on social. Our Instagram account is clickbait BN at Instagram. Yeah, wow, I almost forgot. Terrible. Shame on me. I do this every week. Also, they are casting for men to date our next Bachelorette. If you are single or know someone who is single, go to our website to nominate or apply at bachelornation.com/apply.
Share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you're looking at this week. And Prime members, make sure you listen to Clickbait ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today, or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. But before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at wondery.com/survey.
Susie, thank you so much for being here, and our listeners. We're going to recap the whole season, so stay tuned. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.